Good day and welcome. Matthew here again. We're Group 3 at Le Mans for round 3. Pretty sure it's round 3. Got this one right this time. Round 3 of the final season of Manufacturers Cup. As you can see, I qualified 18th. I had a real struggle with this car around this track. I never really felt like I got it under me where I could attack the course. Going into the chicanes, deep on the brakes, the rear would step out quite easily and it would just cause rear tyre wear, which would just tumble into poor car performance, which tumbles into more oversteer on corner entry, and you just see where it goes. And then the back half of the circuit, it's not the quickest through the Porsche curbs, and it was quite unstable through, well, if you didn't quite hit the curbs right through the final chicane, which is a double left right, then it would bounce away and it was all over the place. But that was my experience. I have seen other drivers do a bit better than me. It's not horrendous. It was doing 4-minute laps race pace, where the leaders were doing 3:58. I saw this other Ferrari driver doing a 3:59 fairly consistently. So it wasn't horrendous, but it was just difficult, and you really had to work at the wheel to get it to go around the track, you know, lap after lap after lap, which that's about it because there's only 4 laps this race. But anyway, I'll stop ranting about the car. I just thought it would be better after the physics change. Things had settled down with the Group 4 Ferrari. It was quite nice. Even though it's lost a bit of top end, the Group 4 is quite a nice car to drive now, but the Group 3, it's kind of just taken a step sideways. Literally in some cases, it just steps sideways under braking and too aggressive cornering, which is difficult because you really got to attack the corners here. And with Group 3 at the moment, it's just the driving style, and the Ferrari just does not suit. Anyway, I said stop ranting about it. Right, stop it. This race was a bundle of fun. As you see, I qualified 18th. I can't remember what happened in qualifying. It obviously didn't go that well. I think I did a 4:02. This was the first manufacturer's race of the night, by the way. So did a 4:02 as my first lap, and then I got a penalty second lap. So I didn't set a better time. And I was aiming for probably a 40. Or even, in theory, I could do a 39. And in fact, if I got a 39.5, which is where I think I can get, I still haven't done that in a lap yet. But that's where I feel the pace of the car is, and quite achievable now. Then I would have ended up 10th. So the pace at the moment is just great with the competition, but a 4:02 put me 18th. But as you can see, I picked up 2 places early on. I got past Conzio and Blitz into the second chicane of the Mulsanne straight, and then I managed to defend against Blitz later on through Indianapolis. Is it Arnage or Indianapolis? I can never remember the name, the order of those two. I should really look it up before I go talking about them. Make me sound more competent. So I guess this started a trend of the night where I qualified 18th, a trend of setting goals. And I was like, okay, there's good points for 5th. 5th would be a dream. Once again, I guess like my Group 1 race earlier in the night, I was kind of relying on myself not getting penalties and other people getting penalties. But everybody was quite, well, I say that, I was going to say everybody's quite well behaved as a penalty flashes up in the background. Thank you for that, whoever that was. So 5th would have been great. Of course, that's the dream. Realistically, I was hoping for a 10th. You know, top 10 finish, starting 18th. After the Group 1 race, I knew the field spread, it was going to be quite tough. The Ferrari, it's solid. Straight line pace is not the fastest in a straight line. but it's got some decent pull out of the slow corner, so it's got some decent acceleration. But here Conzio goes to attack me. Blitz goes around the outside, heading into the first chicane, which is a right-hander. I'm just trying to position my car so I don't have an accident. Blitz goes deep, goes wide. He comes back across, and he was coming back across, so I had to go wide to avoid him. But thankfully he had a penalty, so he drops off the radar about there. And I just have to hunt down Conzio again. The Hyundai has quite a good top end to it. Or at least in the short to mid-term, it's quite a fast accelerating car. I'm not quite sure what it is at the top end. But hey, with the power of the replay, I can go check that. That one there, and I'll go back a smidge. It's the wrong button. There we go. Oh, I'm in the draft, aren't I? So that's not really fair. But looking at 370, yeah. So the Ferrari's topping out a bit higher. So from what I've experienced racing against Conzio, I've seen the pace of Hyundai, at least initially out of the corner, it seems to have great acceleration, but obviously it's not quite got the top end to go around here, and I guess that's why he was down the back of the pack with me. I didn't have the top end troubles, I just had average cornering troubles. But I digress. So this was really a lesson in a lesson. I knew this lesson. This is really, I guess I have a bit of a strategy and a theory of how I'm going to move forward. I don't necessarily have the fastest car. If you go fighting for every position into every chicane, you know, drafting somebody, getting past them into the chicane, and you both slow down because you're going side by side, and then they get back past you, things like that, you're not going to progress forward, or not really going to progress forward. So, don't know if you noticed too much then, but I hung behind Conzio for the second two sectors of the Mulsanne Straight, in between the chicanes, and then the last corner of the Mulsanne Straight, which the name escapes me at the moment. Because there's no point in fighting him side by side, we're just going to cost each other time, and my goal was to get 10th. So I just draft him and then ease off the gas a bit. So he knows he's going into the braking zone. He doesn't have to worry about a car attacking him. He can just take the braking zone and the corner as fast as he can. And he's not going to get away from me. I'm just going to hang on to a slipstream, and we're going to catch up to the next guys. There is a point, so after the Mulsanne Straight, you take that sharp right hand corner. That is the straight that you want to overtake on. It's nice and long, you got all the time in the world to do it. You're not going to go into the next corner side by side, you're going to have the pass complete by then. So you're going to gain the speed, and then you're not going to get held up in the Arnage Indianapolis combo. And then through the Porsche curves, if you've got a faster car, like the Ferrari is quite a good handling car when its back end stays in line. So it's quite handy through the Porsche curves if I could get it right. And I felt I was faster than most of the cars, you know, 14th, 15th, 16th, going through the Porsche curve. So I wanted to be ahead going in there. So the strategy was, if I was behind a car, just to follow them down Mulsanne, overtake them after the end of Mulsanne, down that long back straight, to get ahead for the Porsche curves at the end. Ranger unfortunately goes a bit wide, hits the grass and hits the inside barrier. But that's another position gained on my quest for 10th. But it was this group here. I thought if I could catch them, if I could get into their draft, get into their slipstream, I'd be able to make some moves and then catch the next group, which was, as you saw, 9th, 10th and 11th. But that was my goals, and that was what was going through my head at this stage. Jumping ahead to lap 3, first chicane at Mulsanne, you see Art Albon has a penalty, has to take it there as he's forced to. So I go past him, and I was hoping to catch on to the draft of these two, the slipstream of these two. Just up ahead we've got Dino's and I think CRR Ranger. They go side by side into the chicane. And this was great because I thought, okay, they're going to battle, they're going to be slower, I'll be into their slipstream for the next corner. Thanks, dual shot. Dino's gets the exit all kinds of wrong, gets up on the curb, loses control, and pitches it into the wall. A very costly mistake. It was quite cool to watch from my perspective at the time, quite exciting, but not the way you want a competitor to go out. And you see Art Albon, who just took the penalty, he's in the rear view camera on the right. That BMW is quick. He didn't really drop away from me with the penalty. It gave me the position, but he hung within my draft. So as you see here, he pulls up quite handily behind me. Not a lot I can do. It's lap 3, there's no point in fighting for the position. If he's got the speed, he can go past me. Flashes lights, I guess he's just indicating he's going to go past. Or maybe he's confused with my move across the road, I don't know. But I think I ease off here. There it goes. Just so he's got the breathing room to go into that corner. And away he goes. I knew he wasn't going to get away. I was going to be able to hang on to him through the Porsche curves. And lap 3, I don't really want to lose any time. Lap 4, yes, I'd fight that a lot harder. I would retake him or throw one up the inside if I was in position to. But lap 1, 2 and 3, that's not important. The important thing is that we're moving forward and trying to catch the next group. So you'll see just up here, I've got the run on him, but there's no point in slowing us both down through this corner. Just pull him behind him, back off, and just follow him through these Porsche curves. Just a brilliant set of corners. Even in a Ferrari. Almost. Almost. Don't get it too wrong. Right, there we go. But we'll jump ahead. Once again, heading down Mulsanne. I'd lost a bit of time through the first sector, but I had a good exit onto the Mulsanne straight and got an Art Albon's draft. And we're slowly catching Ranger just up ahead. Ranger gets it all wrong. Goes a bit wide and goes into the wall. I'm trying to hang on so not to run out wide into him. And now we're just chasing down Albon. At this stage, I knew 9th, 10th, 11th were too far ahead, and this was the time to fight. I'm not going to be able to catch him, so slowing myself down through a chicane or two, going side by side, not too big of a deal. I take Albon here. I knew he was going to, I didn't know, I assumed he was going to draft me on this straight, which is ideal, because that puts me behind him for the next straight, and that's the important one. So you see him disappear in my rear view, go up my right hand side. He didn't quite have the top end of the Ferrari, it turns out. So he's just to my right, there. So I back off and let him go past, because I don't want to be in that position for this straight. And they were so close up ahead, just having fights between themselves. I was afraid Albon might have got into the draft of 11th place, which would have made this very difficult. But he didn't quite. I'm in his slipstream, and this is the important one. I have to overtake him here and then hold on to the position through the rest of the lap. He goes to defend. I use all the road and more to take the position away. And then into the fast right-hander. Just managed to pull it up. And Brian F comes out of nowhere. That Corvette is super fast in a straight line. Have to defend against him for the right hand. Once again, I can't remember if it's Indianapolis or Arnage. I think it's Arnage, that one. I'll be crucified if I'm wrong, I'm sure. So I had to defend against that fast charging Corvette late in the race. And that was it. Once you get into the Porsche curves, it's very difficult to overtake unless somebody makes a serious mistake. I was not going to catch 11th without a penalty ahead, so I just managed to hang on to 12th position for the race. I'm going to jump back and show that Corvette flying up behind me, because that was pretty cool. So here's a Corvette a few tenths back, catching us down the straight, as it does, because it's super fast on the straight line. It's just Corvette home around here. It's be a beautiful car to drive. And of course, with me lifting and us going side by side into that corner, we're a bit slower, so he was right there. I actually wasn't paying attention to my rear view mirror, so I didn't actually notice him pop up at this stage. I was just concentrating on getting past Albon. You see my move on Albon, the Corvette's got stupendous speed. Look at that thing go. Comes up behind me, takes a better line than I do. I take too tight of a line. I actually still thought this was a BMW at this stage, and the Corvette pops up beside me. I take me to the inside. He brakes. Oh, gets a push. And hits that wall. That's a shame. That's a real shame, actually. Because that was a well-deserved position by Brian then to take that. Brian the Nemesis in the Corvette. As you can see, I beat tonight. Stoked. It's actually the second night running, I think. Take that, Brian, in your Corvette. But that sucks, actually. For him to lose a position like that. He'd done well. He'd earned that position. He didn't need to be pushed out the way like that. So that was it for the race. I come home in 12th. Obviously quite disappointed. I know the car's got more pace than that. I failed in qualifying with it. I did what I could during the race. Just the field spread at Le Mans for the start. I think by the time I was through the first corners, I mean, hitting the start-finish straight, I was 14 seconds behind the leaders. And there's, 15, 16 seconds behind, so a second a car, a second to each car ahead. You'd have to have been a much quicker car or a much faster driver to be able to make up that sort of time difference on 8th, 9th, 7th, something like that. So I didn't quite achieve my hashtag goals of top 10, but I gave it a good go and I had a lot of fun doing it. A bit of thought went into exactly when to use Slipstream and when to overtake other cars, so it was quite a good battle and got me thinking rather than just a pure outright, ball to the wall, flat out race, which they have been the past couple of races. So it was a bit of fun. I did enjoy it. I do like Group 3 around this track. Le Mans is something special. It's always fun to drive around. Always throws up a good race. Not always actually, but generally throws up a really good race and some good on-track battles. So even finishing in the bottom half of the field down in 12th, more than happy with where I started and where I ended up, and the racing along the way. Some good close racing from actually all the drivers. The top splits in Oceania, yeah, they may not be as fast as some of the other regions around the world, but some brilliant drivers and some good, clean, fair driving to be had. So it's good stuff. So that's it from me. We are a couple of weeks away from the next FIA race. There's a couple week break, which will be a bit nice after a fair chunk of just non-stop racing week in, week out. I can't remember what the track is off the top of my head. It's Group 3 and it is somewhere that is kind of okay for Ferrari, but I think I've said that before and it's turned out that it's not so great, so I'll just hold that one to my chest and we'll see how we go next time. So thank you for watching. Really do appreciate you coming along and watching, spending the time watching me and seeing how I go. Thank you, and we will see you next time. Bye bye. So a bit of a bonus clip, I guess. This was just too funny not to show, and it just shows how bad some nights can go, I guess. So the second race, because the first race I ended up 12th, I had to give the second race a go. I knew there's more in the car. I'm sure I could get further up the field. I completely botched qualifying twice on the 2 laps you get, and it ended up, I think, second last. I think it was 17th out of 18 or 18th out of 19. So here I am trying to draft and think about how I'm going to attack this. I'm following Kizar. I don't have the pace to get past the Nissan, and he's drafting the Lamborghini just ahead. He goes to the left. I try to figure out where I'm going to position my car. I'm looking at those two, completely miss my braking zone, I decided to take the escape road, and I didn't realise how tight it was. It's been a long time since I've been down the escape road. I don't think I've done it in GT Sport, to be honest. And I lose 18 seconds. 18 seconds to get through there. So once again, I was fighting from the back. I was using Kizar as, you know, I was just gonna use him to follow him through the traffic. The GTR had incredible pace down the straights. I unfortunately got stuck behind him through the Porsche curves, which I should have got ahead of him before that, because my car was a lot faster through there. And I fluffed it up. I was concentrating on the positioning of their two cars and where I was going to go, and I was looking at them and not the braking point. The braking point snuck up on me. Looking back at the replay, I don't know how I missed it, but in the moment I was so concentrating on those two cars and not getting it wrong that I got it wrong. I avoid them. I don't want to take them out. I avoid them. I go around the outside of them, and I just mess it up. I'm 10 seconds behind last place at this stage. I lost 17 seconds in total through that sector, and I reevaluate my goals, I guess. Hashtag goals. So from here I was just like, okay, I've got to get second last. I'm going, because I'm in 18th, I've got to get 17th. He was 10 seconds up the road. I was not 5 seconds lap faster. I had to rely on them having issues, and I was also having to rely on myself to drive this car as fast as I could. So heading into the last lap, this is the last part of the last lap. I had, as you can see, almost caught 17th and even 16th. I chased 17th down Mulsanne straight. I hadn't quite got to him, so I thought that was it. I'm set for 18th. I was so pushing to get 17th. You know, a bit of lag from the McLaren up ahead. Funnily enough, 3 mid-engine cars stuck at the back of the field at Le Mans. But always pushing, never give up. You never know what's going to happen. I picked up a penalty, so that's what that slowdown was. I get through here, I just hang on to the car, and end spud and McLaren picks up 1.5 seconds. I go across the line, he drops back, and I got 17th place. That was the most exciting 17th place finish I've ever got. I was streaming at the time on Twitch, and I think I screamed, I didn't scream, I yelled loudly into the mic, yes, I'd done it. I was so stoked to get that place. But thank you, that's the end of my bonus clip. Have a good time. Night, day, whatever it is. Bye bye.